Hey, hope today. Today is the first Godly Mindset Motivation for 2024. Go ahead and hit that paper plane right down there. As always, I'm so grateful to be on top of the ground, and the ground is not on top of me, man. Shout out to the CNC. Hope you guys are able to tap in right now. I do need to go ahead and at least let you guys know that I am live right now on Instagram. Hope you guys can hear me well. Happy New Year. God's blessings to each and every one of you guys. Uh, um, Y'all, somebody told me I had the patience of Job. I've been repeating myself for the past 2 weeks. Thank you, Tall Guy Taco, for that. A lot of people have been asking me about the New York event. We have someone specific that handles those type of things. I am an analyst, right? So I do appreciate the messages and concern and the motivation because it is not easy. So thank God for each and every one of you. I wanted to make sure I publicly say that. So let me go ahead and get everybody in here. Let's see. Got a lot to cover today, but there is a word. You already know, first tenth of our time, we always go to God. So, we're going to keep that consistent in all things. Let me see if I can type. There we go. All right, man. So once again, shout out to the Chestnut Checkers group, also known as the CNC. I'm just getting everybody in the community to tap into this Instagram live because there is a word. And I want to make sure that God's word moves forward and I'm obedient. And then we are going to talk about securing the bag in 2024. So today's message, quite simple. Get it together. So last night, and early in this morning, like God has been dealing with me on the book of Romans, chapter 12, right? And it was ironic that even in the men's prayer call this morning, that was one of the scriptures it actually came from this very book, right? In Romans 12, starting at verse 1, it says, "And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because all he has done for you, let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind he will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into the new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." Because of the privilege and authority God has given me, I give each of you this warning. Don't think you are better than you really are. Be honest in your evaluation of yourselves, measuring yourselves by faith God has given us. Let just as our bodies have many parts and each part having a special function, so is with Christ's body. We are all many parts of one body and we all belong to each other. The word today is simple: get it together. Now, the men's prayer call that we have is every weekday at 6 a.m. If you want to be a part of that, send me a DM. I'll send you the information. But right now is the time where each of us need to make sure that we are giving our lives to God more now than ever before. No, we may not be perfect. Yes, we will make some mistakes, but guess what? You still are the OG. You are the original gangster, right? You are the OG of your own life. It's always you versus you. You are the master of your fate. You control every single thing that you do, right? So, you have to change how you think, right? It's time to evolve. Like I get so many people, they come and join the CNC or they do something and they want something instantly, right? There is no instant gratification. You go to the start here, you learn the welcome, you see how to navigate the CNC, you go take the classes, you learn how to trade. Nobody's going to be able to hold your hand. So it's always you versus you. All we can do is lead you to the water, and it's up to you and drink, up to you to drink. So we have to again change how we think. It's time to evolve. You can become and pray about being a little bit more patient, be a little bit more understanding in 2024, be a little more less responsive, right? A little more unavailable to the distractions, a little more devoted to God and his word, a little more committed to prayer, a little more dedicated to our physical health, a little more better today than we were yesterday, right? So each day will be a little bit harder, but also a little bit easier as we continue to get ourselves together, right? We are not the same person we were in 2023. And for me, 1985, going all the way back, we are not the same person, right? So, in this manner, as we evolve, as God continues to add to us, right, we still have to remain humble, right? We have to remember where we came from. There's an African proverb called Sankofa. It means, never shall the people forget their past, because their past is the foundation on which our future is built, right? So, staying humble, but don't let nobody play with you, okay? Once you've been down that road before, you don't have to go back. It is safer for you to hit the block button than to pull out these hands, right? So make sure that you position yourself to where you're not allowing yourself to go back to the person that you used to be, right? I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of repeating myself. We leaving that in 2023. We're going to say it once and we're going to move on, right? And understand that each person, no matter what, still has a place and a role in our lives, whether they're a friend or a foe. We love them anyway, and we have to keep praying for them, but we don't have to play a fool. So no matter what, make sure that you're keeping God first and position yourself to where he can use you. He can move you to the next level, right? And I want to close this thing out with two verses in the same chapter, Romans chapter 12, starting at verse 6. It says, in his grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophesy, speak out with as much faith as God has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you are a teacher, teach well. In verse 8, it says, if your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, then give generously. If God has given you leadership ability, take the responsibility seriously. And if you have a gift for showing kindness to others, then do it gladly. Man, I'm telling you, this is the year where there is going to be so much more, but because you have positioned yourself for God to do something new in your life, not only will you have a life of abundance with your finances, but your mental health, your spiritual health will all move to an entire new paradigm. So I pray that God continues to touch each and every one of you. And I'm going to do something a little different before we get to talking about securing the bag. And I usually do this at the end, but we're going to go ahead and pray right now, right? So dear God, we thank you so much for an opportunity, God, to see one more day, Lord. Lord, to have another opportunity to have an abundant life, God, to do something for our family, do something for ourselves, God, to do something for our fellow brother or sister, God, whether they like us or not. God, we love you and we love them. We thank you for them, God. God, we pray that you position us, right, to do what we have been called to do. Let us live as righteous as we possibly can. God, forgive us of our sins. And God, continue, God, to put the right people in our lives that are going to help us to evolve to the man or the woman that you called us to be. So God, we thank you. We love you. God, we are the clay and you are the potter. Make us, mold us, shape us, and hide us behind Calvary's cross. So everywhere we go, people have an opportunity to experience who you are. In Jesus' name, I do pray. I love you, God. Bless everybody, and amen. Hey, I hope you guys received that prayer. So now let's get to the bag. I'm going to try not to keep you guys too long because I do want to make sure that I open this up for you guys to ask some questions about some tickers. All right. So first of all, I got to give another shout out to the Chestnut Checkers group. If you would like to join the Chestnut Checkers group, you could text CNC to 89603. I'll put that in the chat. Let's see, 29603. All right. So I'm going to put that in the chat and pin that here for you guys. Or you can go to www.jointhecnc.com. Okay. So I definitely recommend that you check out this community. I'm just so pleased and honored to serve as the analyst. And guess what? We are going to be in New York this Saturday, right? This Saturday. I do believe it is completely sold out. I don't get involved in the logistics. I just show up, show out, and get out, right? Do what God has called me to do and keep making moves. So you can click the link in my bio, see if you can catch one of those virtual tickets that Tall Guy Tycoon has available once they are furnished. I think they'll be emailed to you. I don't really know all the details. I'm just one of the speakers that will be present this weekend. But if you're there, I'd like to see you. Let's take a selfie together. Let's talk. Let's pray together. Whatever you want to do, let's show each other some love in New York. We'll be in Brooklyn. Where is Brooklyn? If you're in Brooklyn, put some fire signs in the chat right now because I want to see you next week, right? All right. So again, shout out to the CNC. Also, if you're in the CNC, been making money with us, drop some money bags in the chat. All right, drop some money bags in the chat. So let's talk about what's been happening today. All right. And yes, I am recording this, and I think I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel. So let me go ahead and get my screen shared over there. But man, today has been crazy, right? One of the choppiest days as expected. It's the beginning of the year. We saw a lot of sell-offs. People are tax loss harvesting. The January effect that most people probably were expecting to happen, it really took place back in November, right? And then we had the Santa Claus rally, which is not supposed to end technically until tomorrow, I believe. So right now, just looking at the good old Trader's Almanac, it called for a bullish day today, right? Y'all see that bull right there? Usually when I see something like this in the almanac, I usually believe that it's going to do the complete opposite, right? So, and that's exactly what we're seeing today. So there are a couple of things you can do when the market is bearish, right? So again, understand what I'm going to tell you guys right now is not financial advice. Cannot tell you what to buy or sell. These are just for, I guess, edutainment, educational purposes only, okay? I stole that edutainment from Invest Answers. I love that guy. He's awesome. So at any rate, you could buy puts on things such as DIA, SPY, QQQ, SPX when the market is bearish like this, right? Quick day trades, in and out, secure the bag, keep it moving, right? Also, in the inverse, you can buy calls on things like SQQQ, VIX, and UVXY. Now, I know that VIX can only be bought on Webull, right? And most of you guys in the CNC, you know this already, but we do have quite a few new people. So I like to drop things that may be a little bit remedial sometimes, but those are just some things you can always do. Now, just because it's bearish today does not necessarily guarantee that that bearish continuity will continue for the rest of the week or even for the entire trading session today, right? So there are a couple of things that I position myself for, and I signaled most of these in the CNC. Some of these might not be signaled. So if you're in the CNC, this may be news to you. All right, so I've been looking at real estate for a little while. I can literally say since last year now, but we talked about RKT a while back, but I have to give a shout out to Mr. Fallback in the CNC. He had mentioned, what about XLRE? We were talking about interest rates being cut. I mentioned something about mortgage refinancing and interest rates and so forth. And so I took a deeper dive down the rabbit hole on XLRE, and this real estate investment ETF is perfect for a comeback, right? So I have a $40 to $41 price target. I actually bought a call in the money all the way out to June 20th, 2025 at the $41 strike on XLRE. Now, my average cost was like around $4. I think it may be a little down right now, but I do believe that real estate is poised for a rebound, right? We know once those rate cuts start happening, people are going to go buy houses. They're going to refinance. I'm going to refinance, I know for sure. But XLRE is going to take off, right? It may get to 50, 60 bucks because people will be buying and getting new homes built so frequently once those mortgage rates are cut. Like Martine Spiriton, Marte Inspiration, big time. Yeah, so I totally agree with that. XLRE is going to pump. Now, today we also got some really, really good news too about Tesla. So I position myself as well for Tesla for their earnings coming up on January the 24th, right? Now, Tesla, we know, is a powerhouse tech company, automotive company, everything company, right? We know Elon Musk is always coming up with something very innovative. Yeah, AJ is very smart, and he's young. Young, gifted, and black. Young, good, gifted, and black young man. I appreciate him. Anyway, that's just a Memphis thing. Anyway, so Tesla, we bought some $300 calls today on Tesla for January 26th. I really like these calls, considering that the deliveries exceeded expectations today. I think that Tesla is completely undervalued, completely undervalued. So we position ourselves on that. I've been dollar cost averaging today in the dip because I see red days as discount days, right? I don't let a little red shake me off the tree, right? If I see a trend and it's completely bloody, of course, we want to trade that trend and buy puts. But I think that Tesla is going to surprise the market once again this year. Now, hopefully, it's going to be after January 24th, but there is no guarantee. But I will continue to buy Tesla, buy NEO, also buying FSR, right? So those are just a few other things. I don't have that on my list, but I just wanted to throw that in there. All right. So also today I saw a lot of unusual activity, right? On CVX, right? CVX, I looked at those $82 calls expiring this Friday. And there was a lot of volume on those. I don't know where CVX is right now. Let's take a look at it on my chart here. CVX is sitting right at should be 81 bucks. I didn't mean to buy Chevron. CVS is what I meant. CVS, not Chevron. CVS, not CVX, CVS. All right. So I was looking at CVS and it's $81.15. I was buying those $82 calls. That's where I saw the unusual activity. Please excuse me. All right. So I've been loading up on CVS, dollar cost averaging. I'm going to day trade my position. I could possibly swing this, but I'm always looking at theta on the Greeks for these options. But I think that these prices are awesome. Now, they have a good RX competition that has sent a little bit of shock to CVS's market. I can't think of the right term, right? So I do believe that as health insurance costs likely will kind of take a small hit soon, that CVS will be poised to take a run, right? So again, I'm going to day trade this and we'll just see what's going to happen with that. Also, I position myself in some lottery calls on Lyft. Man, another one where I saw some crazy, unusual volume, and it's a very inexpensive contract. Lyft is actually quite undervalued, right? We know that recently Uber join the S&P. And we know that every time we travel, we're probably going to use Lyft or Uber. Lyft is sitting at $13.88, y'all. And I'm telling you, like, it shouldn't be down this low. I mean, they got a downgrade, which has happened to several companies today. We've got all these banks downgrading, upgrading, or whatever companies. We saw it happen with Apple. But there's no reason why Lyft should be this inexpensive. Same with Uber, right? It should not be this inexpensive. So I do believe that Lyft is going to end up popping within the next 36 days, right? They have earnings coming up the first week of February. So I'm going to buy these cheap positions on Lyft, and I think that it's going to keep moving nicely, right? Also did some quick day trades on QQQ, just kind of shorting tech. Tech has kind of pulled back a lot today, even with Bitcoin sitting at what, $45,164 right now. Tech has kind of struggled a little bit. We saw our miners kind of pull back. NASDAQ has pulled back, but that's mainly because bond yields are up. The VIX is up. And you got a lot of people selling off for tax loss harvesting, right? Now, again, that's why I said that this bearish trend is probably not going to last a very long time, but you can still capitalize on puts on DIA, SPY, QQQ, and SPX. So that's what I did this morning. I day traded some QQQ. Also, with everything happening in the Red Sea, I just decided to go ahead and start picking up more DFEN calls, right? This is one I didn't signal, but I was buying calls all the way out to July of 2024. I did buy out of the money positions. How you doing, Lewis? And I do believe that DFIN will likely go up if something continues to escalate in the Red Sea. I saw some news today that they're going to limit some supply chain things that are happening in the Red Sea. And now that Iran or someone like that, they have deployed a warship out there, and the United States has actually destroyed 4 different things from what I heard on the news. Okay, so I don't know all the details, but in rumors of war, some tickers just start moving, like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon Technologies. Well, I'm going to buy the ETF that has all of them, and that's DFEN, right? Now, that being said, because of the location of this war, we also saw oil and gas prices started to rise today. So I snuck into a whole bunch of ExxonMobil call options as well. I do believe I'm up. Well, I was up about 20% on those. I should have scalped them a while back. They're still slightly up, and it could pull back because the market could continue its bullish run. But I do believe as these wars and things, rumors of wars escalate in the Middle East, that we'll start seeing the price of gas go up a little bit more. Okay. So I bought those. Now, the CNC and we had a cool conversation last night. They got my pretty much most of my full 2024 watch list live in the Chestnut Checkers group. Once again, you could text CNC to 89603 to join us. But we talked a little bit about Bitwise yesterday, and I told him, I said, okay, I've got a couple things that I like in Bitwise, so this is what I did. I'm telling you guys right now. I bought some $13 calls on BITQ, expiring July 19th of 24. They're a little out of the money. They've got a very wide bid and ask spread, but BITQ right now, let's see, I think it was sitting a little under $10. All right, let me see where it is right now. So BITQ is, it's $11.47. So it started to recover just a little bit, but we've got a bullish fair value gap on the all-time setup for BITQ, excuse me. So BITQ is likely going to pump once they go ahead and get a this spot ETF approved with the SEC. Right now, there's a possibility that they could delay it again. Right, so we'll just have to see what happens. So I'm already positioned either way it goes, because Bitwise, they've already started marketing Bitcoin on various platforms, the news, YouTube, you name it. So I do believe that Bitwise and BITQ will outperform the market, right? Also, with that being said, I bought shares of BITC. This is another Bitwise Bitcoin related ticker, ETF, right? I don't know if it's an ETF, but I think it's a Bitcoin, they call it bull 3 times. Let me pull it up. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. So BITC is the Bitwise Funds Trust Bitcoin strategy, right? So as these spot ETFs likely get approved, whether it be this week, next week, or anytime before the end of this month, because I have shares, I'm in a less risky position. And I do believe that this thing will continue to perform quite well. Since I bought my shares, it was up just a little bit. I think it's negative 0.03 right now. So I'm going to hold these and continue to accumulate in the dips because once that spot ETF is approved, Bitcoin's price continues to go up, man, all these things are going to take off. So I've been loading up for long-term positions, and I'm not even done yet, right? Also, I don't know if you guys remember Hawaiian Electric, right? After the wildfires took place in Hawaii, man, this energy company fell like through the floor. All right. So I had some alerts set up from a while back on when I wanted to start looking at call options on Hawaiian Electric, and they showed up today. So I started back buying, right? And if you're in the CNC, you saw those alerts. Hopefully you bought in. I didn't actually give you a signal on it. I just told you what the alert was, and you guys pulled the trigger and executed even before your boy. So I'm proud of you. So I got in some HE calls. And they're out to March 15, 2024. I'm always thinking about earnings, right? Even though I may not play them, I may play it up to the date, but I see a nice recovery incoming for Hawaii Electric, right? Now, going a little bit back to cryptocurrency, I also loaded up once again at the discount on Riot. Yes, Riot. And I do believe that Riot's still going to be a major player. So is Mara. So is CleanSpark. So is Hive Blockchain. And yes, possibly even BTBT, right? Bitcoin is probably going to go and touch that $48,000 price per share either by the end of this week or sometime next week. And it could likely sell off and then, possibly go back up to about 50,000, right? So I like what Armando said. He said he could see it at 50 to 60K before the end of January. Now, I absolutely love that. I want to see it happen. Right now, Bradley Ramsey said that Riot is filling a gap as we speak, which is awesome because all gaps must be filled. And this thing is going to take off, right? So we got some nice discounts. Man, that is a beautiful cup and handle that I'm looking at on Riot. And it's actually forming a pendant too, if you take a closer look at it on the all time. I think Riot will get back to 19-20 bucks very, very soon. Again, I can't tell you what to buy or sell, but I'll tell you that you can buy Riot on any brokerage, right? Brokerages that I use, I don't have a favorite. I can't tell you what brokerage you should use, but I do like Webull. I like Moomoo. I like SoFi. I like Schwab even. And I also have Robinhood, right? Why not? So you're going to make money in various places and diversified use accounts for different things. Okay. And now there is a YOLO play, right? Another YOLO play that I bought 1,000 shares on this one, right? Last night, Armando's had said something. He said, for the next 5 to 15 years, we're going to see tech evolve, right? He said that literally every company is likely going to become a tech company. So there's one that's a penny stock. I told the CNC about it. I said, look, I'm gonna buy 100 shares. I said, screw that. I bought 1,000 of them. So I bought 1,000 shares of Verb, right? This is a technology company. And if you go and on tradingview.com, take a look at the news, which will be the little purple lightning bolt. There is a letter that the CEO published for all of his shareholders on December 27th. Go and read it. If you got TikTok, why don't you own Verb? That's all I'm gonna say. If you got TikTok, why don't you own Verb? Because I guarantee you, if and when TikTok pops off and gets publicly traded, Verb is going to benefit more than anybody else on the stock market. Mark my words, January 2nd, 2024. Verb is one to watch, and it's only what 13 cents. I mean, it's when I say it's cheap, it's very cheap. But yeah, I bought 1,000 shares of it. So yeah, it's 16 cents. Awesome. All right. So we're seeing a lot of social media things pull back, Meta, Snapchat. So again, these are all discounts right now. Okay. So again, all the tickers that I covered for you guys that was on my list today, most of them signaled in the CNC, XLRE, TSLA, CVS, LYFT, DFEN, ExxonMobil, BITQ, BITC, HE, Riot, Verb, right? Also mentioned Mara, CleanSpark, Hive. I didn't even say HUT. I'm kind of iffy on HUT right now. I also told you guys what you can do when the market is bearish, right? Buying puts on DIA, SPY, QQQ, and even SPX. Told you what you can also do if it's bearish. You can buy calls on SQQQ, UVXY, and VIX, right? So those are just some things you can look at for the stock market, right? I always like to recap everything in case you guys got here late. Now let's talk a little bit about crypto. But first, once again, I got to give a shout out to my boy, Tall Guy Tycoon. I told you, but you didn't listen. Told you, but you didn't listen. And why am I saying that? Well, Bitcoin broke that $45,000 price, even though now it's back at $44,920. We have some pretty critical support right now. And I do think that Bitcoin is just resetting, right? It needs to reset so it can take off. All right. So I've got some key levels that I'm watching on Bitcoin. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys these levels, even though I dropped them in the CNC. So new support established today, $44,922. All right. And that's where we are right now. We're sitting right at support. And then we have a resistance level of $45,349. All right. If we can break above this $45,349 price, Bitcoin will remain at that level of support. Today we saw a long wick. The bulls are trying to pull Bitcoin up, but the bears are trying to keep it suppressed and keep it down, right? And then we tested a critical level where Bitcoin will have a break of structure at $45,939. If we can break above that, y'all, we're going to 47,442, and then we're going to hit 48,000, and then we'll start really seeing the pullback. But I think that these dips are necessary until we get the news about the spot ETF, right? So I do believe that time frame continuity on Bitcoin is extremely bullish, and we are just resetting. I will continue to buy the dip, and I'm up as a result of dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin. In fact, my percentage gains on Bitcoin is 1,281% on perpetuals. And then if I look at my actual Bitcoin holdings, I'm up about 78%. All right. So moving right along. All right. So I'm loading up on Bitcoin. I'm loading up on Solana. I'm giving you guys my complete blockchain crypto list right now. All right. So if you got a pen and paper, jot these down. If you don't, go get it. All right. So I'm going to cover them. I'll start back over. Bitcoin, Solana, SOL, ORDI, ORDI. All right. I'm buying BTG, Bitcoin Gold, Maker for DAOs. There's a Maker DAO, DAOs. I'm buying DAG, Constellation Network, QNT, that's Quant, right? I'm buying QTUM. This is a quantum crypto token. I'm buying Casper, CSPR, buying HBAR, HBAR, XLEM, XDC, Cardano, which is ADA, buying Ethereum, Chainlink, XRP, and Loopring Classic, LRC. So once again, it's Bitcoin, Solana, ORDI, Bitcoin Gold, Maker, Constellation Network, DAG, QTUM, which is a quantum cryptocurrency, Casper, HBAR, XLM, XDC, Cardano, Ethereum, Chainlink, XRP, and Loopring Classic. All right. So that's what I'm buying in 2024, continuing the dollar cost average on. And look, I saw something yesterday and I said, why not? I bought some Dogecoin. I absolutely hate Dogecoin, but remember what happened last time Bitcoin ran, right? All of these little altcoins ripped. So why not put like 50 bucks in there? Let's see what it does, right? So bought a little bit of that to play around with. So right now I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask me about any tickers. I'll do some due diligence, actually not due diligence, I'll do some technical analysis for you guys, and I'll post it on my YouTube channel. You make sure you guys go check out the recording. As always, I post all of these lives and my YouTube videos in the video library in the Chestnut Checkers group. All of my lives are always reposted. So somebody asked about Block, BLOK. That's amplified transformation data. All right. This is something new. All right. So time frame continuity on ticker BLOK is very bearish right now. If you're looking at the 1-day time frame, it appears as though it does have a sell signal at the moment, and the relative strength index is overbought on the short term. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, zoom out, it actually looks pretty good on the all-time here. The prior high on ticker BLOK was like around right around $64.76. All right, so this is another investment trust focused on data sharing, right? It's based out of, where's this thing? It's an equity. I don't know where it is. So they have a total return by investing in companies developed or using this called transformational data sharing technologies, focus on blockchain technology. So this is another blockchain related ticker. I have to do some more research on this. I mean, maybe when Bitcoin does pop, Block will have a benefit of that. So I'm going to look at that a little bit more heavy. And if I see something good on it, I'll make sure I get that posted in the CNC. So Liz Talak wants to know about Mara. So we talked a little bit about this earlier. I'm still in just one Mara $32 call, expired April 19, 2024. I do believe that Mara is undervalued, just like most of the miners. I think they're still playing catch up to Bitcoin's price action, and I think that they're going to rip once we get the spot ETF approval, right? I do like all of the miners for the most part. for the most part. I'm emphasis on that, but not all of them. Like I hate AULT. I'm kind of on the fence about Hut, even though they have acquired more technology and they're now more than one company as far as operations are concerned, because they did a reverse split. It kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth about them. So, but I do believe Mara's going to outperform the market once the Bitcoin halving takes place. All right, SoFi. All right, so SoFi, we talked about this in the CNC yesterday during the after party. SoFi is going to definitely benefit once those rate cuts start happening. And they are likely going to become a profitable company in 2024. They've had some struggle on their revenue, but when I went and took a look at the earnings history for the past couple of quarters as well as annually, this may be the year that SoFi becomes a profitable company, and the shares will likely double from where they are right now. I think SoFi is sitting right around it's a little under 9. Yes, at 961. Every time it touches $10, it pulls back. But you have to keep in mind, back in 2021 and 2022, we finally broke that $20 price per share on SoFi. I believe the next time that this happens, that will become a key level of support, because by then SoFi will not have the same restrictions as far as student loan repayment. And we know that they moved away from cryptocurrency. So that will possibly also help them get some more benefits from the government later on. But this mobile bank is going to be a game changer, because they're also a brokerage. They're also a mortgage lender, student loan financer, business loan, and I think that is going to do extremely well. So SoFi should definitely be on everybody's watch list. I'm not saying buy it, but at least on your watch list for 2024. All right, Shiba Inu. Oh, all right, so I feel the same way about Shiba as I do Dogecoin. I don't really care for it. All right, so I think that it's only going to move with the price action of Bitcoin, just like all the altcoins do. But I don't see a really strong use case for Shiba Inu right now. Maybe eventually, but I put them in the same category as Dogecoin. ICP, Internet Computer, right? This thing has been on a tear. I'm going to tell y'all right now, ICP USD is sitting at $14. I think we started looking at this thing was like $2, $3 per share. I'm sorry, not per share, per coin. I think it's like $3. This was back in October when I mentioned it in the CNC. ICP went from $3 to now $14, a 12.88% price increase even on the day, right? Now it's limited in places where you can buy it, but I do believe that it's not done. It's going to keep moving with Bitcoin. There's going to be a temporary dip here that we're going to see likely today, and then it's going to keep going up, right? So I think we're still early to the party on ICP, even though it is currently overbought on the daily. Bitcoin keeps moving. ICP is going to keep moving with it. Market cap is growing just a little bit. So, and it's also listed as a strong buy right now, just looking at the technicals on it. So I like ICP. I think it's going to do well. All right. VeChain is going to move with Bitcoin. It's very inexpensive. It's only going to move on the momentum of Bitcoin right now. Now, I will tell you, when ISO 222 goes live, completely live, VeChain is also going to move right along with that. So VeChain is also undervalued. Now, QUBT is a quantum computing company. We talked about that last night as well in the CNC. Excuse me, y'all. We talked about that a little bit last night. It's very inexpensive. You're safer with shares, in my opinion, not financial advice, on QUBT, because it is extremely volatile. It is another penny stock. So that's something we got to be careful about. And it does have a sell signal, even though it's at 91 cents. Now, it previously touched a little above $1 in the past. And I think that if it happens again, it could find some support. But there's not a lot of momentum behind quantum computing right now, simply because of AI, right? We need the AI bubble to burst. AI bubble burst, we'll see companies like NVIDIA, AMD, QUBT, Honeywell, all of them continue to perform extremely well. So at this moment, it looks like everything is below the exponential moving averages on it. And that is not necessarily a good thing, right? So QUBT is very bearish, got a lot of resistance, but long term, maybe if we see this AI bubble burst, it will move. Okay. So I see somebody asked about somebody said ordinary. That's Ordi, ORDI, right? That's another cryptocurrency. I know I bought mine on Uphold. All right. Can I look at SDIG? Sure. Stronghold Digital. This is another Bitcoin related ticker SDIG. It is pulled back 3.56%. I think it's just resetting like most of the market, and including Bitcoin itself. It is bearish on a time frame continuity, and it had a lot of resistance when it hit $11. It's $7 right now. So if it hit $11 when Bitcoin was at 45K, it's probably going to go back up once it's at 48. It's going to go up even before then, but I'm just saying it's undervalued and it's in a buying position right now. Everything that we're seeing on these miners is a discount. All right. Somebody asked me, where do you keep your crypto? All right. I'm going to see if I got one over here. So cold storage wallets. All right. Cold storage wallets are good. I thought I had one in here. I don't. All right. So I like to use the Arculus cold storage wallet. Best place for me for keeping my cryptocurrency. I really don't have one on my desk because my other one's in the safe. So only I could use that to transfer my cryptocurrency out of my cold storage, so nobody can take my crypto. And of course, it's safe. No, it cannot be breached. And only people have access to it is me. Even if I face scan and get in there, you still can't send anything out of it without the actual Arculus card. So go follow at This Is Arculus on Instagram. Learn more. I think they got a huge discount. I think like 25% off. If you wanted to order one, you can do that. You can also buy them on Amazon. Okay. All right. Bitcoin, we talked about that. All right, price prediction for BTBT moving forward. Sure, I'd love to help you with this. All right, so first I want to tell you, go to Tall Guy Tycoon's page and get the Bitcoin halving report if you have not done so already. So just looking at BTBT, somebody wants to know my price predictions. All right, I'd be more than happy to give it to you. Let me go ahead and get this thing out. Crystal ball. No, I'm just playing. At any rate, I'm looking at the chart right now. BTBT has quite a bit of support, a little above $3.30. And I do believe that we will test resistance right around $5.79. If we can break 5.79, which will likely happen after the Bitcoin halving, we're going to go to about 631. And then maybe retest that $7 price per share that we once saw at the last Bitcoin halving, like right after it. I think that, yeah, that was back in like November. And then it broke all the way up to about $32 from there. So, and I say November 2021. Sorry, let me back up. So $32.98 or higher after the Bitcoin halving, likely by November 2024. For BTBT. We could also probably see like $17 on BTBT around April 2024. All right. Coinbase. All right. So I'm glad somebody asked about coin. Somebody had jokingly said that coin is Bay for me. No, Apple still is my Bay. But Coinbase has pulled back to $158.53. I honestly think I'm about to buy a couple shares of it today because it's down 8%. Normally, it responds almost immediately to Bitcoin price action. And I just think that market makers are just draining the liquidity out of Coinbase right now. Because if you go and take a look at those options, right, they're not losing a lot of the implied volatility because they know that with Coinbase being a custodian for these spot ETFs, that this thing is going to be over $200 or more per share, right? So I'm going to reposition today in Coinbase. And like I said, I might buy some shares. It's at $158. I told you guys that it was going to go to 190 in 2023. Well, we hit 186 and 187. We didn't quite make it. We got pretty close. But I think the next time it tests that level, it's going to keep going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny, right? Because it's going to have that spot ETF right there behind it to back it up. All right. So if someone didn't have as much capital as others and had $5,000, which crypto would you invest in? Not financial advice, but I would love your thoughts. Okay, so if I tell you my thoughts, it is like me giving you financial advice. But if I personally had 5K, I put it in pretty much everything I told you today. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I'd be buying Ordi. I'd be buying Solana. Man, honestly, I really love Solana. We've been buying Solana for a while in the CNC. We started buying it at $8. Now I know I sold off. Then we bought again at 15. Then I sold off again. Then it ran up to like 30 and $30. Then I sold at 50, bought some more back in, bought some more at 70, bought some more at 90, and kept buying and buying and buying and buying. But I've been buying a lot of Solana. I think Solana is gonna go places. I think it's gonna be at 232. So I like Solana. I like Bitcoin. I like Ethereum. And then, of course, QNT. I love QNT. And so if you go do some research about it, you'll probably fall in love with it too. All right. I'm probably going to start back buying ICP. Like I said, there are multiple places where you can buy it. Wesley, I waved at you. I didn't mean to do that. I'm just scrolling here. Ted, somebody asked about that in the CNC. Limited places where you can buy TET USD. So I haven't bought any. So I don't know anything about it right now because it's limited on where you can get it. And I'm not adding any more exchanges to my watch list because I'm telling you, your boy gets tired. All right. So somebody asked about ARQQ, Arquit Quantum Incorporated. All right. So man, this is another penny stock. 48 cents is really down on the weekly. Man, this thing is quite bearish, man. ARQQ, before I would start buying it, would be like around 69 cents before I touch it again. I think it's going to keep this downward trend right now. We're not quite at the bottom on ARQQ, but we will get there soon. But if and when that AI bubble bursts, it will probably skyrocket, go back above 60 cents, then touch 69, maybe $1.09, but I wouldn't get too bullish until it was over 195. But if you're in now, of course, you'll be positioned for early, but this is one I would always play safe with because it's so cheap and it's a penny stock. All right. What is SHX? So I'm just reading the comments here. Somebody asked about SHX, Huandong Power International, another penny stock, electrical company. Don't know much about it, but I don't like what I see looking at the chart right now. It's 38 cents. It does look like it wants to break out and test maybe 48 cents again, but this one is so cheap that you can have a small run up. This is a Chinese electric utility company, and they just got accumulated by China for $150 million. So maybe it will run just on that momentum only, especially with China's recovery. But on this one, I tread a little light, but you could see some nice green at the end of that tunnel. Especially if you're looking at the weekly chart, because it appears as though we're just breaking that 50-day EMA. And we are about to cross that zero line looking at the secret sauce. So we got a buy sitting on the RSI all time. Just understand this might move a little slow, but when it pops, it's going to pop, okay? If energy and utilities start moving, then I think that it's going to move as well. See, ICP for the win. Yeah, I told you guys, I think I'm going to start back buying it today. So, Mark, how do you keep track of your gains and losses once you move to cold storage? I mean, you could write them down, or you could just chill, right? I mean, honestly, I don't really watch my crypto like that, right? I mean, I look at it to see where I am, but I keep some on my exchanges too, right? I keep just enough to where I can track a little bit there, but I keep most of my eggs secure, right? So a little light egg in the exchange or brokerage, and then the rest of it put away. All right. Where do you get that to buy? I don't know what you're talking about. All right. What is a Web3 wallet? I don't know. I don't use a Web3 wallet. You could probably ask the CNC. Joaquin asked about DraftKings, right? Now, I don't want to go too deep on this because my boy Chewy, he did a signal on DraftKings today in the CNC. I don't want to give away all the plays because you need to join us in the Chestnut Checkers group for more of this sauce, right? So DraftKings is quite bearish right now. We had a bearish signal come through just on the daily, but I think it's getting ready to recover as well. We got the Super Bowl getting ready to come up in February. These are all discounts right now, all discounts. All right. But right now we have a short-term bearish pattern on DraftKings, DKNG. And I think that it's going to likely hold for just a little bit, just looking at the time frame continuity on it. I think that it might come down to $30 and then it's going to take off again. It may touch 31 and find support and then move. But right now it's down 5%. Wow. Kathy Wood's name has touched DraftKings. So, like I said, Super Bowl, I think it's going to be a game changer for a lot of the market. We're probably going to see a lot of Bitcoin related commercials as well during the Super Bowl. So y'all be ready for that. Somebody said, where do you buy Verb? Again, that is a stock. So I bought it. I just bought it on my, did I buy it on Robinhood? Yeah, I bought it on Robinhood. So it's really, really cheap. All right, thank you, sir. Which platform? Okay, which platform is best for trading? Again, I'm not going to put one platform over the other. For stocks, I'm using Robinhood, I'm using Webull, I'm using Moomoo, I'm using Schwab. I'm also using SoFi, right? I use all of those to trade stocks and options, right? E-Trade is also good. I don't use them, but it's good. I know certain members do. So that's still available. Now for crypto, I'm using Uphold, I'm using Coinbase, I'm using MEXC, all right? I also have a crypto.com, but I don't use it. I also have Binance. I buy my IOTA on Binance. I forgot to put that on my list, IOTA, right? So those are a few things that I use. All right, so SMCI. All right, so again, with semiconductors being down, again, these are discounts right now. SMCI, super microcomputer. We think about the AI bubble bursting. Super microcomputer still bullish on all the time frames for continuity purposes. And I'm gonna tell you, at 283.72, this is a discount, family. All right, and we've got a pretty decent flag that's really been around since August on SMCI, and I think that it will likely break the trend possibly in the next 28 days, January 30th, right? We got earnings coming up, and we know the NVIDIA is right around the corner, but I think it's going to go to 343 before the end of 2024. SMCI is listed as a buy. It is a profitable company. There's a target of 367, but like I said, I think it's going to go to 364. When I said 343, something like that. So, let's see, how many different time frames should we chart Bitcoin? So I like this question because it gives me an opportunity to give you guys a teachable moment live on Instagram, which is not something that I do too often. So when you go and watch the video, you'll be able to see this. So again, with Bitcoin, we want to look at cryptocurrency as a long-term investment, right? So when I look at cryptocurrency, I want to see the all-time. So your all-time will be your monthly time frame, okay? So we'll go and look, or if you're on TradingView, just simply click all, okay? If you go look at the all-time, you'll see that even right now, with the pullback that we have on the day, Bitcoin is literally just getting started. It's forming a nice cup and handle. And I mean, it's just doing what all things do. They have a chart. It dips, okay? But we're still holding above the 10-day EMA, right? Now, again, this is for like long-term investments, all time, okay? Then we're going to bring it in, right? So let's say, for example, this was another stock, all right? And I wanted to just swing trade it. Well, I'm going to be looking at my 1-day time frame. And I may look at my 4-hour time frame or even my 65-minute, right? for my swing trades. Now, if I want a day trade, I'm going to go 65-minute. I'm going to look at my 30-minute. I'm going to look at my 10, my 3, my 1. Sometimes I may even go to the second. So that's just something that I like to do, and it works for me. Hopefully it'll work for you. Bars. There we go. Anyway, thoughts on Square. So again, I dropped this in the CNC. Square is going to benefit as well as Robinhood from the Bitcoin halving, right? Because they do have exposure to Bitcoin on the Cash App, since that is literally the only cryptocurrency that you can trade and exchange on Cash App. So right now, Square is undervalued. I had a $100 price target on Square. Let me turn my lines back on. So I said it was going to go to 91.78. At 91.78, we'll start breaking that 50-day EMA on the all-time setup on Square, Cash App, or Block Incorporated, because it has a bullish fair value gap right now. I think that it is going to be beautiful, right? Somebody said everyone is gambling. I think they were talking about DraftKings when I was talking about it earlier. All right. Yeah, I wish I could play that. There's one that I would want to do. What's it called? Play to win or something like that. But I don't even watch sports. I don't have time to watch TV. So between being dad, a martial arts instructor, and a husband, you just don't have time. So any words on Apple? Apple is base. So let me tell you this. Apple, they got downgraded today. I think they're going to probably hold at 185 for a minute. It's going to keep pulling back, maybe find some support at 179. I think right now might be a good time to maybe have some short-term puts on Apple. But also this creates a great buying opportunity long-term, because Apple does pay some wonderful dividends on shares. So today, like I said, I'm looking at buying some shares of a couple things. Apple is one of them, and so is Coinbase, right? Apple and Coinbase. I even looked at buying some shares of MicroStrategy today, but MicroStrategy is so bullish, right? So it's just like, okay, either you win if you buy a share, or even if you buy an option, right? So I've been kind of leaning between the two. All right, so yeah, that's that on that. At any rate, guys, it is now approaching Power Hour. Usually we close out in prayer. We did that a little early, but I want you guys to still keep everyone here on this live lifted up in prayer. If you guys have some unmentioned dots, I'll make sure that I keep you guys lifted up when I have my private time in prayer. Oh, and the Holy Spirit is messing with me a little bit right now. It wants me to tell you to remember your devotions, right? Remember to devote some time with just you and God, right? Devote some time just being in his presence, right? There's a great app called, sorry guys, that was my Power Hour alert. It's my Power Hour alert. Normally I post my little shooting cat right now. Let me see, poor connection. Poor connection. Okay, here we go. So yeah, be committed to devotion right now. In this season, we need to draw as close as we possibly can to God's word. So don't just rely on even what I'm telling you guys. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. So go and research the word of God just as much as you research securing the bag. And I'm telling you, your life is getting ready to change. So y'all have a wonderful day. Have a great year. Make sure that you keep God first and secure the bag and buy Bitcoin. All right. Not financial advice, of course. I'll see you guys in the CNC. It's Power Hour, baby. Let's get it. What a wonderful live, y'all. So I appreciate you guys for joining me. Let me go ahead and get this chart taken down. I was on there a little bit, did a lot of talking today, had a lot of comments come in on Instagram. I would love for you to join me on Instagram Live, ask your questions, so I can look at it on the chart for you, right? Also join us in the Chestnut Checkers group. You can text CNC to 89603 or visit www.jointhecnc.com. All right. God bless you guys, and I'll see you next Tuesday.